Hello, GMO Free Idahoans. Today, Jenny and I are talking with Ryan Carson, who is a locavore. He's very active in the community here in the Treasure Valley, and we're featuring him and his organization, the Boise Real Food Connection, which is a Facebook group, as our organization of the month. So Ryan, thank you for taking this time.
Yeah, thank you for the chance to be interviewed.
Very cool. So we love meeting people who are really working hard in the valley to bring the community together and to raise awareness about local and organic foods. And Ryan, I just want to ask you, have you always been a conscious food consumer? Have you always been aware of eating local, eating organic, and avoiding certain types of foods?
No, I was raised kind of with more whole grains and kind of a health food store type mom, but not along the lines of organic and really mindful eating. It wasn't until I got kind of sick too much that I started going to health food stores, and that's what got me on the path, really.
Was there ever like an aha moment where you just made this huge, massive switch? Or for you, it was you've kind of been raised around it, so kind of just all came together over time?
Yeah, it kind of came around more towards cleansing. When I started feeling I had to do that to get my body in a better shape, then after cleansing and detoxification, I started hearing more about raw foods, and then that got me eating more raw foods, and that got me liking a more whole food based lifestyle, where I learned that processed foods were a big part of the problem of why I ended up where I did.
And we see that a lot of times there's a connection between these foods and bad and toxic foods in our environment. So I know that for Jenny and I, learning about GMOs opened our eyes to a lot of the environmental impacts of our food supply, not just when it comes to genetically modified foods. So I know you have a deep concern for our environment, and that you're helping out now with a local farm, Sweet Valley Organics. Can you talk about your environmental concerns and how you think that local farming can benefit the environment?
Yeah. First thing that I have a big concern about is water. I kind of got the idea years back that at some point that is going to be the most valuable resource if we've depleted it and poisoned it to such a degree. We haven't done much to protect our watersheds, and the amount of chemicals going in is probably my biggest concern of why it all needs to change. Local farming helps more security in the event that petroleum becomes so expensive. It might be all we can afford in someday in the future, or maybe future generations. So to regain that knowledge of growing and sustaining our neighbors on local food is really a really important thing to do.
So you started the Boise Real Food Connection on Facebook, correct? And so why did you start this group? So that you can start sharing these things that you're talking about and have a discussion with the community, and so people can take action?
Now, it was kind of a twofold reason behind the group. One being that we were just looking around and there isn't many restaurants or places to go eat healthy like we would want, and our friends would want, and our family, and just asking why that is. I think it just came that it's because there actually needs to be a voice. So like an army gets together and says, yes, we will support this. And so we thought by having events at restaurants where they would specially put menus together, it would get them a little more excited, and it might be seen as a little bit more feasible for a business owner. Same within grocery stores and stuff. They might start carrying more if we could descend upon them with our army and, just say, hey, we're here.
There is a demand.
Yeah. And the second purpose was because so many people that are trying to transition out of the processed food diet, the standard American diet, into more whole foods living need like a support group or people around them that are like, yeah, I want to eat that food. I want to trade those recipes. I want to share my garden produce with you. Just a lot of aspects building community around food. So the whole thing is building community between businesses, friends and neighbors, and just everybody, so we can all kind of look forward and evolve at a quicker rate than what otherwise might happen in the valley.
Very cool. I love it. We're on the same page. No, I've met lots of people through your Facebook page, and I actually just went in and bought some strawberries with someone on that page who wanted someone to go in on a co-op purchase with her, and so I got some great strawberries for a good price. So yeah, I love the Real Food Connection. Can you talk about some of the other things you're involved with? The Community Progressive, for example, which GMO Free Idaho will be at, and your Food Not Lawns project.
Okay. The Community Progressive is June 9th on a Saturday at Davis Park. And what it is it's a collection of local artists, local musicians, local farmers, producers, craftsmen, all kind of in a celebration of what we can do to build stronger networks, and by doing so, what can we create from that. There's just going to be a lot of nonprofits there, so anybody who really wants to get involved in making differences around them and knows of things that need changing and maybe have a certain sad heart on a particular issue, is something they kind of lose sleep about, that they can kind of plug in and see where they fit. And I am working with the food people, the farmers and the food trucks and the foodies, and we are bringing Heather Flores from Food Not Lawns. She's the creator of that movement and the author of the book, which is how to build community by having gardens in our yards instead of lawns, and how we can feed the hungry in our areas and all kind of take part in something.
Very cool. Yeah, we're excited about the Progressive this year. In fact, I think we're getting an opportunity to hold a workshop. So I just think it's really cool what you're doing and how involved you are, and the Progressive itself is such a progressive idea. Jenny, do you have anything for Ryan?
I don't think so.
Ryan, I do want to ask you about genetically modified foods. I don't know how familiar, obviously I think that you know about them and you're very concerned, but do you maybe want to talk about that for a minute and some of your biggest concerns and maybe some advice to people to avoiding these foods?
Yeah, it's really difficult, so you have to kind of want to be a vigilante in your food shopping. Mm-hmm. Giving up on certain things or mostly eating out to a large extent. I don't know of any restaurants using oil, say, in their fryers that isn't GMO. Do you?
No, there's
so
no one.
There's just a lot of aspects to wrap one's head around, which is why we have to get a label, in my opinion, because if you don't know to avoid, you can't avoid. And when you're being robbed from the ability to make the decisions you want for your own health, it's a real fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
And they're definitely not meant to be in our human bodies. I don't want to be a genetic experiment. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty unsettling.
It is. It really is. And that's what's exciting about groups like yours, is that that's just more troops to rally with us when we go for the ballot initiative next year to pass labeling laws in the state of Idaho. So I look forward to working with people like you, because we just all get stronger in the end. So that's awesome. Is there anything you want to add?
No.
If someone wants to join your group, where do they go?
It's Facebook. If you do a search for Real Food, in quotes, Real Food Connection, Boise Real Food Connection. It should take you to the group, and you can just ask to join.
How many people are in the group right now?
Somewhere between 150 and 200. And we're just kind of still in the opening phases. Mm-hmm. We kind of have an idea of what we want it to do, but are totally open into the group evolving into whatever that shows up. So as people show up and get involved and have ideas, then yeah. And we're going to get more into monthly events starting here in the next month or so with farm tours and just potlucks and people getting together for movies or...
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Farm tours. Should jump on that too. Cool. Well, thank you, Ryan. It was very nice to talk with you some more and get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll be working together again soon.